Streamers aren't just here to entertain. Between the memes, the clutch plays, and the flood of chat, sometimes they slip in a line that feels different. Not content, not jokes. A warning. It might sound like a throwaway rant after a tough loss.
They say don't break the brick down. Isn't that a thing? That's a thing, right? Don't do it. Don't do it. You're not gonna like what's on the other side. I warned you. I've told you I can't stop myself.
Or a half joke during Q&A. Most viewers forget it in seconds, but years later, those words hit back with chilling accuracy. From Ninja's blunt warnings about burnout and platforms selling out creators, to Pokemon's raw honesty about toxicity, parasocial fans, and exploitation, to XQC's chaotic but dead-on take on gambling, shady sponsors, and the grind of streaming. These weren't just opinions, they were alarms. And the scariest part? They were right. Today, we're diving into 3 of the biggest streamers in the world and the moments they tried to warn their audiences about the dark side of streaming, online fame, and the internet itself. Chapter 1: Ninja, the rise, the fall, and the warnings in between. Tyler Blevins, better known as Ninja, isn't just a streamer. He's a cultural phenomenon. The man who dyed his hair blue, yelled into his mic like a caffeinated drill sergeant, and turned Fortnite into more than just a game. It became a global event. For years, Ninja was everywhere: Twitch, YouTube, late-night talk shows, even the cover of ESPN magazine. But beneath the hype, Ninja often dropped truths about streaming that most of his audience ignored. Truths that now feel prophetic. The Mixer deal warning. In 2019, Ninja shocked the world by leaving Twitch for Mixer, Microsoft's shiny new streaming platform. The deal was massive, reportedly worth tens of millions. Fans treated it like a betrayal, rivals mocked him, and many predicted his career would die in exile.
I know this may come as a shock to many of you, but as of today, I will be streaming exclusively on Mixer. I know, it's exciting.
But Ninja wasn't just chasing money. He warned in his own blunt way that Twitch had become complacent. Twitch doesn't care about their creators the way they say they do. They care about the numbers, not the people behind them. At the time, Twitch was untouchable. Mixer was the joke. But when Microsoft pulled the plug just a year later and Twitch began bleeding goodwill through DMCA strikes, ad controversies, and questionable leadership, Ninja's words looked less like sour grapes and more like the first warning shot. Burnout before it became a buzzword. Ninja also spoke openly about the toll streaming takes. You stream 8, 10, 12 hours a day, every day, and the second you stop, someone else is there to take your spot. He admitted he couldn't keep up forever.
Dr. Disrespect, Shroud, Summit, Tim the Tatman. I have to compete with all of these people to just take away of a huge pool of people from when they're not on, I'm up to like 12, 13, 14K sometimes.
Fans thought he was just complaining. But within a couple years, burnout became the #1 reason streamers big and small stepped away. Twitch careers were imploding under the weight of the grind Ninja had described years earlier. The toxicity alarm. Ninja also dropped one of the most controversial warnings. He refused to stream with women. His reasoning? Online toxicity. If I have one conversation with a woman, even offhand, people will make it into something it's not. It's not worth putting my marriage at risk.
I tried not to play with females, man, just because of the image it presents, since I have a wife. I don't play with girl streamers, man. Ninja flirting with so-and-so? Jake Ghosty angry? A video like that would be up in less than 10 minutes. There are great content creators, female content creators out there, but it's just something that I'm not, super into doing. Do you feel me?
At the time, he was roasted, accused of sexism, of isolating female streamers. But years later, as parasocial drama, doxing, and harassment scandals spiraled out of control across Twitch, Ninja's paranoia suddenly looked like foresight. Ninja wasn't always right. He wasn't always graceful, but his biggest warnings about platforms using creators, about burnout, about online toxicity have all come true, and the world is still catching up. Chapter 2, Pokimane. Honesty in a world of fakery. If Ninja was the poster boy for hype, Pokimane became the face of balance. Imane Anise rose to Twitch royalty through charisma, consistency, and community. She was funny, sharp, and most importantly, real. But that realness often came with warnings. While others chased sponsors and trends, Pokimane spoke openly about the industry's darker corners, exploitation, parasocial fans, and corporate greed. The parasocial plague. In 2020, Pokimane looked straight into her camera and said what many creators were too afraid to.
Okay, listen, I don't like to do this, but I'm gonna do this right now, okay?
If you think you're in a relationship with me because you watch my stream, you're wrong. That's dangerous for me and for you.
Just to ask me the most weird and random questions about my friends. Have you met this person? Why aren't you following this person? Go do this. Go do that. Oh my god, Myung is live. This person said this person. Stop it. Please stop trying to psychoanalyze or micromanage my friendships or relationships with others, or asking so many weird, repetitive, obsessive questions. I live my private life off stream, okay?
At the time, parasocial talk was niche, a meme. But as years went by and stories of obsessive fans, stalkers, and unhealthy attachments grew, Pokimane's early callout became the blueprint for how creators discuss boundaries with their audiences. Calling out exploitation. Pokimane also warned about exploitative sponsorships. When shady gambling sites began offering her huge payouts to promote their products, she turned them down and went public about why. If I take this money, I'm telling every kid who watches me it's okay to gamble. I can't do that.
You know, they're trying to say, like, guys, look,
I'm a real one.
I'm losing a lot.
Yeah.
Hear me out, right? I'm a real one. What I hear is, bitch, you have 4 million to throw away like that?
Mm-hmm.
You must be making 8, at least.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
you're
that's
right.
true.
Yeah.
Like,
Has to.
blows my mind. It really pisses me off. All in all, though, I just hope Twitch takes action, because I cannot trust individual content creators too. Viewers, don't be fooled when they say stuff like that. They want to act like, oh, I'm detracting my audience from doing this. You're actually just flexing the fact that you can gamble with millions and millions of dollars. Like, that's not normal.
Let me ask you this.
If you have that much money, go do something. Go promote something else, man. You do not need gambling money.
Her decision sparked massive debate. Other streamers mocked her for turning down easy millions, but when Twitch itself later banned gambling streams after multiple scandals, Pokimane's stand looked less like morality and more like foresight. Warning about industry pressure. Perhaps her most haunting warning came in 2022 when she admitted she almost quit streaming entirely. This job is amazing, but it feels like a machine that never stops. If you step away, even for a week, you feel like you'll disappear. It wasn't framed as advice, it was confession, but buried in her words was a chilling truth. Twitch doesn't allow balance. The algorithm punishes absence. The platform thrives on overwork, and in the years since, countless creators have echoed the same sentiment. Pokimane's warnings weren't loud, but they were necessary. She used her influence not just to entertain, but to show viewers the costs behind the curtain. And every year, her honesty looks more prophetic. Chapter 3, XQC, Chaos with a Kernel of Truth. If Ninja was hype and Pokimane was balance, XQC is chaos. Felix Lengyel built his empire by being unpredictable, yelling at games, ranting midstream, spinning from topic to topic like a tornado. But buried inside the chaos are moments of brutal honesty, warnings that sound unhinged in the moment but ring true later. The gambling crisis. XQC was one of the first big streamers to openly call out the dangers of gambling streams, even as he participated in them.
Come on! Come on! Bomb! Bomb!
Yeah,
I gamble every day. I lost 2 mil this month.
Really?
I lost 1.85 mil this month.
Guys, don't gamble.
This shit is addicting. You lose track of time, lose track of money. I can handle it, but most people can't. Critics slammed him as hypocritical. Fans joked it was just XQC being XQC. But as gambling scandals exploded across Twitch, with viewers losing life savings, with streamers exposed for shady sponsorships, XQC's warning about addiction and manipulation proved dead on. Warning about sponsorship lies. XQC has also been brutally honest about brand deals. He once ranted midstream. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They want numbers and they'll use me until I'm trash and move on. At the time, it sounded bitter, but as stories of exploitative contracts, shady sponsors, and platform betrayals piled up, XQC's chaotic ranting looked more like a red flag. The grind will kill you. Like Ninja and Pokimane, XQC has also spoken about burnout, but in his own unfiltered way. Streaming's not a job, it's a trap. You stop, you fall. You keep going, you break. He said it in anger after a long day, but the words capture the central paradox of streaming. The very act that makes you successful is the same act that eventually destroys you. And as more streamers crash out of the industry, XQC's warning feels chillingly accurate. XQC may seem like a whirlwind of noise, but buried in his chaos are truths few want to say out loud, and time has proven him right again and again. 3 streamers, 3 very different voices, but one thread: warnings. Ninja saw how platforms use creators until they burn out, and how online toxicity poisons communities. Pokimane called out parasocial fans, shady sponsors, and the machine-like grind of Twitch. XQC, amid his chaos, warned about gambling, exploitation, and the trap of endless streaming. At the time, their words were easy to dismiss. Just ranting, just complaining, just noise. But looking back, they sound less like opinion and more like prophecy. Maybe that's the real reason. Warnings don't come from journalists, politicians, or academics. Sometimes they come from the people behind the webcam, the ones screaming at horror games, cracking jokes over Fortnite, or spiraling midstream at 3 a.m. The question is, when they warned us, did we listen? What the warnings really mean. The stories of Ninja, Pokimane, and XQC aren't just snapshots of 3 popular streamers venting. They form a larger picture of what live streaming, and by extension internet culture, has become. Their warnings echo across the entire ecosystem of content creation, signaling trends and dangers that reach far beyond Twitch or YouTube gaming. Let's break down the core themes. 1. Platforms don't love you back. Ninja's split with Twitch highlighted one of the hardest truths for creators. Platforms are not your friends. Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, Kick, it doesn't matter. Their goal isn't your long-term stability. It's keeping people on their site, watching ads, and generating revenue.
Some people need to realize that this grind attitude is incredibly unhealthy. Sure, streaming can be an incredible dream job with an insane amount of money. And of course, for the people who can make a living off Twitch, it's 100% a legitimate job. But 99.99% of people who stream on any platform will never make enough money to pay for a month of rent, let alone the rest of your expenses. That's 0.007% of all streamers who are partners.
Ninja's Mixer deal proved 2 things at once. Creators can be bought, and platforms will abandon both creators and audiences if the business case collapses. Microsoft paid millions to acquire him, but when Mixer shut down, they left its community stranded. This wasn't just about Ninja, it was a warning shot to every streamer who treats Twitch like home. The home can disappear overnight, the contract can shift, the algorithm can change. Platforms care about growth, not loyalty. For audiences, this means one thing: don't assume your favorite streamer will always be around. And for creators, it means you have to diversify, spread your brand across multiple platforms, build communities offsite, and never rely on one corporation for survival. 2. Burnout isn't a personal failing, it's structural. Ninja, Pokimane, and XQC, all in different ways, warned about the same monster: burnout. But their warnings go deeper than just streaming is tiring. They expose how the system is built to break creators. Twitch's design rewards the people who never stop streaming. The algorithm favors those who stay live longer. Audiences feel betrayed when creators take breaks, and unlike traditional entertainment, where seasons, breaks, and downtime are normal, streaming expects constant presence. Ninja's line, "You stream 8, 10, 12 hours a day, and the second you stop, someone else takes your spot," wasn't paranoia. It was reality. Pokémon's near-retirement confession showed how draining it is even for the most successful, and XQC's chaotic trap metaphor summed it up. To survive, you have to destroy yourself. This isn't about weak work ethics, it's about unsustainable design. And the lesson for audiences is clear. When a streamer disappears, it's not because they don't care. It's because the system forces them into impossible choices. 3. Parasocial relationships are the dark side of community. Pokémon's boundary-setting moment might be one of the most important cultural shifts in streaming. She named the parasocial problem before it was mainstream.
I don't want to feed into like this addictive, give attention, parasocial cycle that exists on Twitch.
Streaming blurs lines. Unlike movies or music, where fans only see curated performances, streaming feels intimate. Viewers are in your room. They hear your offhand comments. They celebrate birthdays with you. That closeness breeds connection and sometimes obsession. Her warning: if you think you're in a relationship with me because you watch my stream, you're wrong. Wasn't just about protecting herself. It was about protecting her viewers from unhealthy illusions. Since then, countless scandals have proven her right. Stalking cases, harassment campaigns, and stories of fans spending thousands to win affection. The parasocial problem isn't going away. If anything, it's growing as streaming becomes more central to entertainment culture. For audiences, the takeaway is crucial. Support doesn't equal ownership. And for creators, Pokémon's example shows the importance of setting boundaries early, even when it costs popularity. 4. The sponsorship trap is real. Both Pokémon and XQC warned about shady sponsorships, though in very different ways. Pokémon refused gambling deals outright, calling out how they exploited kids. XQC, meanwhile, admitted to taking some, but simultaneously warned viewers about the danger. On the surface, they're opposites, but the deeper message is the same. Brands don't care about communities, they care about conversions.